Welcome to the GuthrieAmerica podcast. We sit down with amazing people who do life in our community and who are from here. We believe every story should be told. I'm your host, Heady Coleman. Today, I am sitting down with the one and only Abigail Ropp. Before we jump into this conversation with Abigail, will you please go ahead and subscribe to the podcast and leave a review? It would mean the world to us. And so shout out to our two sponsors for this episode who are helping me fulfill the mission to have every story told. Much love to Kevin Kraft and State Farm and his team down there on Division, and then also North Church Guthrie. And I just cannot thank them enough for the support to do something that I believe is vital to us building community, and that's us sharing our story. So, Abigail, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Thank you for making your way onto the to the podcast.
Thank you. Yeah, happy to be here.
Understanding that you are a mom, entrepreneur, even more importantly, a wife, and I know that it's sometimes hard to make things like this happen, especially when you got two young kids.
Yeah. Praise the Lord for Mother's Day out. Otherwise it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, some people are like, I remember when, Bernadette stayed home with our children, and some people are like, you stay at home, why do you need a Mother's Day out? And they just don't understand, like, to be with your kids 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365, like, you need a break, even though you need a break, because really you got other stuff you still got to get done. And when you're trying to care for kids all day, like, you don't get anything done.
No, well, I just sit there and I think, well, rest on the Sabbath or have Sunday. I'm like, ooh, mamas need that.
Yes.
So it's nice to get a chance to clear your head and kind of reset. And for me, it's always like Tuesdays and Thursdays are the days that everything happens that I can't do with. I mean, I could do it, but it'd be a lot harder with the little ones.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yes. It definitely can be done. But again, it's just a lot easier whenever you can take your children to a place like Mother's Day out, leave them there for a few hours, get some stuff done, and then go pick them up. It's not like, it's not like you can't do it with them. It's just harder.
Yeah. And boy, that 6 hours goes by fast.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's already 3. And then, of course, I love picking them up. They're my whole world. But I think, man, I didn't get near. I always think that I'm like superhuman and can get so much done. And then I'm like, I'm still on my first check mark. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm so thankful. I'm really, really, really blessed that we can take them there.
Yeah. Now, you definitely have to be a super planner. Are you a time blocker? How do you go about doing that? Like for your 6 hours, do you have each second and each minute, like, okay, I need to do this, I need to do this? Or do you I just let it kind of come?
Well, I'd like to think that I am a very good time blocker. And if I get them, if I can sit there and get the discipline, because when I was single and didn't have the kids or anything, I had a very successful photography business in Kansas City. And I struggled with time management because there was so much to do. But I thought, the last time I was really productive, I was in high school. So clearly I would work really well if I was like, you have hours of the day that you have like math and you have science. So I was like, okay, this is this and this is this. And so when I have a schedule that I can follow, I do really, really well. And it's just a matter of getting a chance to make the schedule. But I do to-do lists now so that I've got it, on what I need to do. And sometimes they all get checked off and sometimes they don't. And that's okay.
That's right. That's right.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think the important part is like being okay with, not as though you didn't want to get it done, but you have to let it go. Because if you hold on to it, then it's hard to move into the next day. At least that's what I've found for myself.
Yeah. And, with the way I was raised, though, I was very much like worker bee parents, and I mean, good parents, but like worker bee, like they were very much work oriented. And so for me, that's been kind of something I've had to adjust to, is going, no, I didn't get the work done. No, I didn't get my homework done. I can actually still have fun and make the best out of this moment instead of just like sitting there and being like, you didn't get it done. You got to stick your nose to the grindstone until it's done.
Right.
It's not like we're, baling hay or have to get it up because it's going to rain tomorrow, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's, I'm glad that having kids and being married to Adam and, you know, being a wife and everything has made me learn to, you know, just go with the flow. And it's so much more fun that way.
Yeah. That's good. So talking about family and growing up, tell us how your family family and friends would describe you if they were sitting in your chair right now. If I said, tell me who Abigail is, how would you describe her? How do you think they would describe you?
It depends on who you're talking to. If you're talking to my kids, they'd probably say they're sweet. They're in that age where Mama, you're my best friend.
Oh.
And I just think, I'm so thankful that you feel that way, but I got news for you, kiddo. That will change someday.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Oh, I hope. They're so sweet. And so, you know, my kids would probably say that, but then there's other times where Gingy will say, Mama, you need to go say a prayer and calm down. I'm like, oh, yes, honey. Thank you for the reminder. I do. Let's pray together. I don't know. I hope that they would say that I try to be really kind.
Yeah.
And that I try to be really, like, I want to listen and hear what someone has to say. Mm-hmm. And so my parents would probably say that I've always marched to the beat of my own drum, and, you know, but that's okay because, you know, that was my thing. I was a musician, so
yeah,
bang, bang.
Yeah. You're an entrepreneur, like all the things that, I'm sure you are now were in you early. Yeah. And our parents just oftentimes they can see those things first.
Yeah.
And so that's really cool. Now you talked about your children, your husband, Adam. Just tell us a little bit about your the family that you live with now.
So my husband makes every day fun. The great news is that I'm, you know, probably more of a creature of habit and somebody that just kind of, you know, moves along day to day doing the same stuff and everything. And with him, I'm so glad God gave him to me because it's just like a surprise every day. You never know what's going to happen. He decided to run for city council and he made it. And he, you know, we decided back to move to Guthrie and we just moved and then, of course, with him having a film career, you never know what to expect. But regardless of what he's doing professionally, he's still keeps everything really, really fun because he's just so energetic and lively and unpredictable. And, you know, you never know if you're going to go try to make an adventure off to Stillwater to go pretend to be pirates, or we're going to go to that cowboy travel plaza that's up there with the kids. And then, or, you know, he's whimsical and he follows the whim. And I love that about him. You know, he's so much fun. So that's my kids and my husband. That's the family I live with now.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, that's really good. Can you tell us how you and your husband met?
Yes, we actually met on Christian Mingle.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We both were not bar people. We weren't, you know, it was funny because I went to church and I fell into what I called the gap.
Okay.
You know, I was 30. I had built a very successful photography business in Kansas City and was teaching voice and piano lessons. And so I was not necessarily career focused, but that was what I was doing because I wanted to be married and have kids. I hadn't found the right person. And so I knew, well, I'm not in high school or college anymore. I'm not going to meet him there. And I'm not going to go to a bar and meet him there. So that really only leaves like church. But then you go and you think about, okay, I'm going to go to small groups. Well, they had, you know,
100-year-old small groups and then young small.
Which, by the way, you know, North Church, think about putting in this gap. But, you know, if you weren't 20 somethings, if you weren't college, if you weren't divorced, if you weren't mother of preschooler, you know, like I didn't fit in any group. Yeah. And so you didn't find anybody. So we were both at a point in our lives where we were wanting to find that person. And the world we live in now, you find them on a website or an app.
Who I don't even know how it works. Who tagged who first?
Oh, Adam's memory is so much better than mine. I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay.
I just remember that once we started talking, that I was just really surprised because, I'd always dreamed up in my head that it would be so cool to be in business with my husband.
Okay.
I didn't know what that looked like, but to me, because I was a photographer, everybody always asked me, well, do you do videography? And I said, no, we don't, and it would be nice to partner with somebody and do that. And so I actually saw on his profile, because there were two things I would not compromise on. He had to love God, he had to love Jesus, and he had to be taller than me.
Okay.
He had to be taller than me with heels on. I was like, you still have to be taller so I can wear my heels. And which is funny, I don't wear heels anymore ever. So, but yeah, he checked off those two boxes. But then I saw he was a videographer who did weddings, and I thought, oh my goodness, what is this? And then of course I read his profile, and I thought, boy, he's really interesting. So I don't know if I reached out to him, or I would have had no problem reaching out to. I was never,
For sure.
I wasn't necessarily shy, but I would have been like, you check the boxes. Let's take a look at you. And it worked. It happened so fast. So like we met in the tail end of November of 2013, and I physically met him in person in January, and we were married that same year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that's super cool.
Really?
Where did were y'all both in the same city?
No, I was in Kansas City, and he was in Bartlesville at the time, traveling back and forth to Edmond for school.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, he was between Edmond and Bartlesville.
Got you.
Dewey area. So yeah. Christian Mingle.
Christian Mingle.
I know. We need to send them a thank you card.
I'm sure they would love for you to share your story to help promote them. So, no, that's good. I remember when people first started saying like, oh, we met on AOL Messenger, or, we met on, and it just seems so wild.
Yes.
And now today it's like, oh, where'd y'all meet? Facebook? Like, it's part of the way people meet now.
I know. Well, and it was funny because I was so against online dating forever. And I had a year of weddings, that I'd asked everybody, how'd you meet?
Yeah.
Almost every wedding that year was online dating. Okay. And I was just like, okay, God. Oh.
Oh, is that how you ended up jumping on Christian Mingle?
Yes, that is. That's exactly how I jumped on Christian Mingle. So I was just like, all right, well, I'll give it a shot. So.
And looky here.
I know.
You got your man.
Foot in mouth.
Yeah. Now, tell me this. Both of you are creative. You photographer, musician, videographer, film director. What is that like? Two creatives being in the same house and running life together. Because, some of what people say about creatives is like, not type A, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Like free going kind of thing. Yeah. Is that true in y'all's case, or?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think naturally both of us are very much like the dominant for him, for sure. Yeah. He's super creative, and his brain is going like so many miles a minute. I just, I would never be able to play chess with him because I would sit down and get my coffee and be like, okay, I'm ready to go. And he'd be like, checkmate. And I wouldn't have missed a piece, moved a piece, because it's just like he thinks that far ahead,
Yeah.
And, that's actually sometimes I'll also have to sit there and remember, like, if it's frustrating, because I'm just like, where in the world did you come up with this idea? Or, I'll sit there and be like, he's already thought through all of this.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, walk me through it. Because get me there, because I don't know how you got there. There'll be times he just starts busting out laughing and we're not talking to each other. He just starts busting out laughing, and I'm like, what are you laughing at? He's like, I can't even get you there. Like, but you're laughing so hard, I'd like to go on the journey with you.
I want to be there.
What is funny? He makes it really fun. But of the two of us, like, I am more type A.
Okay.
Than him. If I know Like, give me the goal. Where are we trying to get to? What are we trying to do? I will figure out the way to get there, you know, and I'll put together all of that. He does that too. But like, of the two of us, he's more of like, let me do the fun thinking and all the creative ideas. And they say that in order, I know it belongs to some book somewhere, but they say that in order to have a successful business, you have to have kind of like a triangle, that you have the dreamer.
Yeah.
Then you have the manager.
Yeah.
And then you have the doer.
Uh-huh.
And so, and those two, manager and doer, can be the same people, but that the dreamers are like, try not to be that person because it's just too much.
Yeah.
So, so, I mean, when it comes to all of that kind of stuff, we're big thinkers, we're big dreamers, and I've become a big prayer. And, you know, moving forward, it's as long as I have a list. If the list isn't there, I have to make the discipline to have the list and how to get there.
That's right.
But once I have that roadmap, then off we go.
Yeah. I think just having good systems in place can kind of help creatives. I think then for us, I would kind of put myself in that category. Then for us, it's creating the discipline to follow up on the on the list. And so, but I like that. I don't think I've read that book where it talks about the triangle in that way.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
really cool.
I used to follow a ton back when I was full-time photographer. I would follow, a ton of professional photographers because I was, one of the things that I learned at a young age is that if you have a person that you want to have a career or something like what they have built, rather than going to school to figure all those things out, I am the type of person that goes, let me grab a hold of the coattails of that individual because they're going to have life lessons and things that I could glean from them instead of going through the ABCs of it. I just want to go talk straight to them. Yeah. So I'd find these people and go say, do you teach classes? Do you have online courses? And I took a 6-day course out with a photographer who actually had worked with Oprah. And I just picked his brain and his wife's brain and studied everything they did. And that's when my business just took off. And so I'm a firm believer in, like, if there's something you want to do, find a person in that industry and try to reach out to them. And most people are more than happy to share how they got there, what they did right, what they did wrong. And, that's like, if the kids don't want to go to the college route, that's fine. But what we want to teach them is find someone that has done it. Yeah. And study them and find out how they did it. Yeah. And keep your mouth shut and listen. Yeah.
Just take it all in.
And take it all in. And just watch. And that's what I did when I was in high school. I wanted to be a photographer. There was a very, God bless the fact that this was there, but in Lewisburg, where I'm from, there was an extremely successful senior photographer there that did high school seniors. And I mean, in that time of year, or back in that time of year, what year did I graduate? 2001. Back in high school, I went and I said, hey, I want a job. I want to come and work for you because I want to study what they were doing. And I got the job there, and I studied everything. I watched over their shoulder because I was the nanny for a while. And while she was nursing her daughter, I'd watch and just study how she was working on the computer. I was the framer. I helped on the shoots. And I would just afterwards just ask, why did you do it like this? How did, if there's something I didn't understand. And I learned so much that I never went to school for photography because that was my school. Yeah. And so it was just by the grace of God that I was able to study under one of, and still to this day, two of the best photographers that I've ever seen. And they teach in all kinds of different photography seminars and, the big things that you go to in Dallas and everything. They teach other photographers how to do what they've done. And that was my tutor. That was, and they were great people too. So it was awesome to get to be under their coattails. So needless to say that, that's something I hope to instill in the kids. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I think, man, if you can go and learn from somebody and save yourself a few hundred, thousands of dollars. Let's just say thousands of dollars. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Do it. And so And in today's age, I feel like it's not as pushed education. Like more people are understanding that you can go and build a career and have success without traditional education. Like it's going to take education, but maybe not traditional where you go into the classroom and getting a degree.
Yeah. So it's really cool that you can do that these days.
And I want to come back to photography and business and all those because I think it's a big part of your story and who you are. But how'd y'all end up in Guthrie?
Photography.
See, it's your story.
Actually, let me back up.
Yes, go ahead. Take your time.
So Adam and he took me on a first date. We were in Tulsa, and he said he knew how much I loved Victorian everything. And he says, I got to show you this place. I said, okay, where are we going? I was thinking 20 minutes away. And he puts me in the car, and in true Adam fashion, we're driving and driving and driving and driving and driving. And I'm like, where are we going? And again, it's nighttime. And he drives me all the way from Tulsa to Guthrie and drives around at night showing me this town.
Was it just a normal night in Guthrie?
Yeah, normal night in Guthrie. There wasn't nothing going on. Everything was dead. It had to have been like a Sunday or something because there was nothing. And
what year is this?
It would have been 2014.
Okay.
And so, and the whole time he's like, man, I wish you could see it in the daylight.
Yeah, so that's what I was
in my head, I'm like, well, we could come tomorrow, but the fact that he was like so excited and, because I was just like, well, let's come back tomorrow. I don't mind driving back, but that was the beginning of the story is that I got to see Guthrie at night. And so falling in love with this beautiful town that I was seeing probably 20% of, if that, in the middle of the night. And so he was going to school in Edmond, so we were living in Edmond, and I was coming up here every weekend to photograph. And, we both...
You're coming to Guthrie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you saw it, and now you're coming back, and you're doing photography
up here. Okay. Yeah, and like being at the temple and everything, and we knew we wanted to potentially move out here. So I had my sights set on here for 2 years while we were living in Edmond. And I was sitting down with a bride one day having a consultation, and I was just like, yeah, we want to move to Guthrie. And I said, have you seen any of the cool historic homes out there? And she says, no. And I said, well, here, let me just pull one up on my phone on Zillow. I always look. And I was just like, yeah, just like this one. And that's the house we're living in now. So literally, like, I pulled it up on Zillow at the coffee shop and called Adam that day. And I was just like, we're going to Guthrie right now. We're going to go look at this house. And that's where we live. So
that is so cool. Yeah, what year was that you actually moved here?
2016.
2016. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you remember the first day I met y'all?
Do I? I don't know. To remind me.
So I came to your. Was it just Adam? So I'm next door because Cody and them are getting ready to. Cody, your neighbor before. I don't know if they were getting ready to move or I was at their house. And then he says, hey, these are my new neighbors.
Yes.
And I come knock on your door.
I remember now. You got to dust off cobwebs with me first, and then I'll remember things.
If my family's with me, of course, they're like, that's what he does. So I came and introduced myself. And
I do
it was
remember now.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Y'all had just moved here.
Yes.
And so, that is cool. So you moved to Guthrie, and what were some of the next things? Like you had your photography business doing it, and then I'm sure you started dreaming of like, what is it going to be like to build a business here?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that we were going to be, we were really heavy into photography and video. We were shooting weddings all the time. We were doing like 40 weddings, 50 weddings a year, which if you think about it, there's 52 weekends.
Yeah.
So we were busy all the time. And we did that for a while. And because of our business, we met some people here in Guthrie who said, man, you need to come and be a part of some of our boards and groups. And so our friend Deanna, she got us connected with Rotary. And so we sat with Rotary for quite a while. And just being with Rotary, we got to know Dan Newton, and we got to know Linda Miller, and we got to know, all kinds of people.
Yeah.
And everybody you met, you were just like, man, we live in Mayberry. Like, this is amazing that we get to be around all these people who just, it's like you see Dan Newton and you see all these individuals and you just like, you're just a soul hug, So, we got connected that way, and we started noticing, like, what's going on with these downtown buildings? Why are they vacant?
Yeah.
What's going on? We got to know Ben Coffin because he was at Rotary because it was in his building.
Yeah.
And just fast forward, one night I just stuck Adam in the car, and I drove downtown, and I said, pick one. And he says, what are you talking about? I said, pick a building. I said, which one's your favorite? And he says, what are you doing? I said, pick one. We're going to own something someday here. And he picked the Victor. And I said, okay, let's try to see what we can do with it. And at the time, I didn't know, but it came up for sale. And just through looking at trying to buy that building, we got to know, different real estate agents. And everybody kept saying, why don't you guys go look at the depot? And we're like, what are you going to do with a train station? Like, what are you talking about? You're like, own a train station and do what?
Yeah.
And we thought, well, Gage's is in the Victor building. We'll have a tenant already, and then we'll be able to do this. But I mean, that was a huge mountain to climb, and it didn't work out. And then we kind of started to come around to the idea of the depot, and we thought, well, what if we put Gage's at the depot?
Yeah.
And then I wanted to retire. Adam wanted to retire from taking pictures and doing video at weddings because you have no life. And I was pushing 40, and I was just like, I know my lifelong dream has been to be a mother. So, like, what are we going to do? And we thought, well, let's just stay in the industry, but let's do it here in Guthrie. So we had Gage's move over, and we bought the building, and we've been remodeling it and working on it. And we started doing events, and we will only really take, I'll only take video and photography jobs at the depot. But I mean, we're pretty much retired from that side of things, and they're taking care of this building.
Wow.
So, totally a God-given blessing.
Yeah.
Because we were completely like, no at first. So, but every opportunity now that we have had in our lives has come because of the depot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. You should interview Adam again. He'll tell you all about it. So, yeah, I mean, every single opportunity that we've been blessed with has been tied back to the depot.
To the depot.
Yeah. So
how cool is that?
God's hands are in it for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So,
I used to host this event called We Tell Stories, and I did it for a number of years. And I tell everyone, like, to this day, I feel like We Tell Stories has been the thing that has been the blessing to our family over and over again, just because of the connections that we were able to make out of having that event. And I'm sure that's what you mean, is like, the depot has allowed for you to have some great connections, and it's all about relationships. It's all about the people that God places in your life to be able to set you up for whatever he's wanting you to do. And sometimes you just don't know. You think you're doing something, and he's like, yeah, right. Let me just kind of move you along and let you think you're doing what you're, and then you like, I would have never imagined,
No, yeah.
Those are the kind of things that come out of that. And so, going back to photography, because again, this is your thing, so I'm just gonna stay right there. Do you have a photo that you've taken that's like, are you that kind of photographer where it's like you have the photo that you've taken and it's been the best photo ever to you? Or are you a photographer in a sense of like, it's a profession, it's what I do kind of thing?
Oh, I geek out on the art of it for sure. Okay. But what I geek out on is men and women do not see themselves like other people see themselves. And we always see our flaws, and we always see, it's the same with the depot. Like, people walk in and they're like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. And I'm like, the ceiling right there. We pick it apart. Like, that's just, our criticism is just ingrained in our skin. Good, I think that's normal. But one of my very favorite thing, the thing that gives me the juice to do that, is when I can take a picture of someone and I turn the camera around and they hold their breath, laugh, or cry. Because they've never seen themselves like we see them. And so people will tell me, I hate having my photograph taken. And I say, I need to take your picture. And it's not because I think I'm this fantastic photographer. It's because I know what I need to get through. Tell me the things you don't like about yourself, about your appearance. Because there's all these things that I can do to just fix that, not on the computer, but to position you the right way so that you get to see your countenance and you get to see what we see.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when a man or a woman gets to see their picture and they're like, wow, that's a great photograph.
Yeah.
And I say, and that's how everybody else sees you all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like that sticks with me. So it's just like, it's not about your flaws. It's, you know, and it's not about the fact that, yeah, you look real GQ in that picture. Or, oh gosh, you look beautiful in that picture.
Yeah.
But they finally get to put all of the criticism in their own brain on hold and go, wow, I see me.
Yeah.
You know? And so the I see me that we get to see all the time is what I think is the coolest part about the job.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, I would, you know, in that same sense as like doing this with people. Like so many people are like, no, I don't want to sit down. I don't have a story. I'm like, you do have a story. Like, who told you didn't have a story?
Adam said that to me last night. I was like, what are we going to talk about?
You do. Yeah, we've been going 40 minutes now. You've done. I'm just sitting here listening, you know, like, but so many people but it's kind of like, I just want to get better at making sure I ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Are kind of like, what is that thing that they're going to get on here and they start talking about? Because oftentimes people think it's about Guthrie, where it's really about the people.
Yeah.
Because the people who make up the town.
Yeah.
Like if there's none of us, there's no Guthrie. It's a ghost town.
Well, if it wasn't for Guthrie, we couldn't do any of the stuff we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. So. That's cool. So, okay, I got this thing that I call top 5.
Okay.
All right. And so I'm going to give you 5 cities. And you got to create your top 5 of where you would want to take a photo of someone.
Are they in the United States?
These are going to be all in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
now, here's the thing. These are going to be your top 5 that you would want to take. So when I give you the first one, you got to put it somewhere between 1 and 5, 1 being the greatest.
Okay.
Okay? And then once you place it there, you can't move it.
Oh. You're doing that to a creative. Like, what do you mean I can't change it? Okay.
You can't change it once I give you the
Okay.
city and you put it wherever, okay? So top
Okay.
5, 1 being the greatest. I'm giving you 5 cities.
Okay.
All right? San Francisco.
Oh. One's the highest?
Yeah.
5.
5, okay. Los Angeles.
4.
Chicago.
3.
New Orleans.
I sound so original too.
New York.
1.
You get,
No, I wouldn't change my list at all.
so here's the funny thing about that list.
Yeah.
I Googled that list, top 5 cities, and that's the order they put them in.
What, that I just did?
Yes.
Really? That is crazy.
It is the exact same. You didn't change any of them.
Oh my
San
goodness.
Francisco was 5, Los Angeles 4, Chicago was 3, New Orleans was 2, New York was 1.
Well, I haven't been to LA, but you know, I've been to New York, and you know, from the photographer standpoint, I'm going, okay, New York ticks off all of the different locations I could take.
Yes.
You know, so
I would think New Orleans kind of has the same vibe though.
yeah.
I feel like there's different settings, different.
Yeah, I mean, you got
cool areas.
you got different cool areas there too. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I'm sure they all can have something.
Yeah.
I just recently was in Chicago and really loved their downtown, and
yeah.
I took out my phone and just started taking just so many different
Well, we
things. Street
photographed
photography.
because we did destination weddings, so I mean, I've shot in almost every one of those locations.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
wow, that's really cool. All right, since you did such a great job of saying what the internet said, I'm gonna let you do fact or fiction.
Okay.
This is called fact or fiction. This is about photography.
Okay.
All right, see how well you know a camera. The first permanent photography, you may not know this. If you do this, it's gonna be pretty cool. First permanent photography took 8 hours of exposure. Fact or fiction?
First part of photography took 8 hours of exposure.
The first permanent photograph, should I say, took 8 hours of.
Well, I'm wondering if 8 hours of exposure is long enough, but I'm going to say that's probably fact.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's fact. The permanent photograph known as View from the Window at Lagros was taken by Joseph somebody, I can't say their name, in 1826. Took 8 hours.
Yeah.
That's great. Good job.
Yeah.
Look at you. Okay. You definitely should know this. Fact or fiction? A higher ISO setting will result in a grainier image.
True.
Fact.
Fact.
ISO increases the camera's sensor's sensitivity to light, but it also amplifies noise, leading to a grainier appearance. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to scoop down. I think I got some down here. Okay, here's one. Hyperfocal distance is the closest focusing distance at which a lens can achieve maximum depth of field.
Now you're getting technical. Hyperfocal, what?
Hyperfocal distance is the closest focusing distance at which a lens can achieve maximum depth of field.
I have no idea because that's not what I would call it. I'm going to go off aperture and how they describe lenses. I'm going to say that's fiction. I'm going to say
it is fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job. Yeah, because the term hyperfocal distance refers to the maximum aperture.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, aperture.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. Good job. All right. Let me get another one that find one that I can say. Some of these words, like cameras, are so technical. Bracketing. Fact or fiction? Bracketing is a technique where multiple photos are taken with a different focal distance to ensure at least one shot is perfectly sharp.
It depends on what they're talking about, because bracketing could be referring to flash or it could be referring to something else. But I'm going to go with what I know on bracketing, which is flash photography. So I'm going to say that's fiction.
Fiction. Bracketing involves taking multiple photos of the same scene with varying exposures settings to capture the perfect exposure.
Mm-hmm. That has to do with your flash compensation and make sure that you can get your person not to move.
Look at you. You're killing this. All right. Fact or fiction? The first digital camera was invented by Kodak in the 1990s.
Oh, gosh. Was it Kodak? I know Kodak made some pretty big errors on stuff, but I want to say that's true. It could have been that, or it might have been, was it Sony, Nikon, or Canon? Or Fuji. I don't know. I'm going to say they might have changed Kodak to somebody else. I'm going to say fiction.
It is fiction, but I think it's based on the year. Let me see. Fiction. The first digital camera was created by an engineer at Kodak in 1975, but it was not commercially available.
Yeah. Okay. So Kodak did technically create it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember that Kodak that's kind of like Apple versus PC. Yeah. Dell and all that. Pixar versus Disney and all that stuff.
All right, we got two more. The size of a camera's image sensor, the fact or fiction, directly impacts the image quality.
Yeah.
Fact?
Yeah.
Yep, fact. Larger sensors generally gather more light and produce higher quality images with less noise.
Yep.
I don't know if I've ever taken a picture with a full frame camera, to be honest with you.
I haven't either.
You've never? Are you serious?
Nope.
Wow. Can there be a full frame mirrorless?
Well, mirrorless, I mean, now you're getting into, I mean, if it doesn't exist, they're going to make one because they want to do that. But I haven't kept up on my photography knowledge to do that.
Yeah.
And
I want to say they did recently.
I want to say that I have done, now that I say that, I think I have done a full frame camera. But the secret is not the camera body. The secret is the glass. So if you want to know how to take the lens.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can take a kit camera and you give it to a professional and they can make it look like a red camera or a fancy schmancy camera. Yeah.
Well, you know that when you start looking at the prices of the lenses, because sometimes the lenses are more expensive than the body. Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's kind of crazy. Yeah. All right, last one. The Sunny 16 rule is a guideline for estimating correct exposure in bright sunlight without using a light meter. Fact or fiction?
They're only going to 16. They've missed a couple stops on that.
Oh.
Yeah. If they're saying Sunny 16 rule needs to be changed to Sunny 22 because they're missing some apertures on there. I would say that that's fact, but they need to upgrade that information.
It is fact.
Yeah.
The Sunny 16 rule suggests that in bright sunlight, you can set your aperture to f16 and your shutter speed to some word of your ISO for a proper exposure.
Yeah, I mean, there's those rules that, it's fully sun. I can put my settings at this on my camera and I'll have a decent shot. Yeah.
Got you. It's like whatever it is.
These are things that come from the film days because you couldn't check it on the back of your camera. You had to know those rules.
Oh.
Nowadays, when we went digital, you went from shooting for the shadows to shooting for the highlights. So it completely changed the whole world of photography is how you expose things from digital and versus how you exposed for film.
Huh.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I know.
You know your stuff. Way to go.
I'm surprised though. I'm like,
You did a great job. You did a great job. Okay, let's get back to
I'm like,
you're over there stressing now. She's like, I didn't know I was gonna have to work so hard, Heady. What in the world?
It's all right. I'm actually surprised that I remember this stuff.
You did a great job.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So going back to that night that you drove down here, he takes you through this beautiful town. Now you're living here. And I know that you've had some experiences with the Victorian homes, even more so now because you helped do the tour of the homes. Tell me your favorite Victorian house that you've had the opportunity to be in.
That I've had the opportunity to be in.
Yes. Good. Have you been in?
I surprisingly have not gotten to be in a lot because being on the homes tour and putting it together with Christmas, I rarely got to go on any of the tours because we were coordinating all of it. As far as ones that I've been in, I would probably say Dan Newton's house.
Oh, okay.
And then the runner-up would be Stone Lion Inn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there one that you like, I want to go in that one? Well, all of them, but...
Judge Dale's house. That one that's over on the west side.
On the 17th Street? Or 17th Street? Yeah.
One of the teens over there.
Yeah.
It just sold not too long ago.
Yeah.
Judge Dale's house.
I think they've done some work to it now.
Yeah, well, I know it needed some. Quite a bit. Yeah.
What do you think about the Dominion house? Did it sell, or is that done, or you can't? We can't say that, ladies and gentlemen.
No, the Dominion house is beautiful.
Yeah.
And it would be nice if it could have some new owners.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I say that knowing like it's up for sale and it's up for...
No, yeah, that's I was about to say.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful place.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I think that
I mean, Adam and I would love to own that building.
Oh, it is a beautiful building.
Yeah.
I was just talking to somebody though about just the landscape on it, just to keep it the way that it.
Yeah.
Oh my! It's like
the upkeep on that building.
Upkeep is probably ridiculous. I mean, you just think about a normal house.
Yeah.
Our own houses, like trying to keep up with them in the yard and all that stuff.
Don't come to my house right now. don't.
But that, oh my goodness, yeah, it's a gorgeous place. It's a gorgeous place.
And it could be a huge success.
Yeah.
There's so many potential things.
And I would say that it has,
it is a huge success. But
Yeah.
I mean, like with it growing and Edmond coming north and everything, it could be even bigger.
Yeah, it can go a whole nother step of what it's already been doing.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about. And I think that's going to happen. And I'm super excited about it. Tell me, what is the hardest part about being a mom for you?
Oh.
That you're willing, that you can.
Yeah. The hardest part about being a mom, I would probably say, is knowing that they watch everything you do. I think that's part of being a parent, like And knowing that you have to explain to these little humans the good things and the hard things, and the things that are true about the world. And you don't want to burst their bubble, but you want to supply them with the armor that they need.
Yeah.
But I think other than the typical answers of patience and everything, I think being an example of what you should be, and having to ask for forgiveness when you're not.
Yeah.
That was something that I thought about. I've, yes, photography, yes, the depot, but the number one thing I wanted to be was a mom. I've written letters to my children since I was 4.
Wow.
And had dreams about them, and that was what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And so the thing that gives me the best joy is the kids. And if I lose my patience or I lose my temper, I thought about like, what would I have done if my mom had come to me and said, man, I struggled with anger today, or I struggled with impatience today, or I didn't have my stuff together and I took it out on you guys, and I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? I think that there was a time where it was trained, or people were taught, don't apologize to your kids because they won't take you as that authority figure. But to me, if I had heard one of my parents say, man, I am so sorry that I was impatient with you. I know that, when Dad would give me that big hug of saying, man, I'm sorry this happened to you, I just would melt. And so being able to be humble, to know the hardest part is knowing that, they say monkey see, monkey do. Yeah. They're going to see me be a sinner. We all have skin.
Yeah.
They're little sinners. We're big sinners.
Yeah.
And being able to say, Mama messed that up. Mama needs Jesus. That's why we all need Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm trying to explain to them, like, we want to treat each other like we want to be, treat other people, and we want to be treated. But the hardest thing would be knowing that I'm going to make mistakes, and then having to then humble myself, and also then say, do it the way Jesus would do it. But I'm not Jesus. I didn't die on the cross. He died for us.
Right.
That's why we need him, because without him, we're going to yell at each other. We're going to make each other mad. We're going to make each other madder than hornets. And thank God it's not that way all the time.
Yeah.
Because the only good comes from him.
Yeah.
So, knowing that I'm going to mess up a million times, and I'm probably going to have to ask for forgiveness more than I ever have in my whole life. But that's
I think the
hardest
willingness to ask for forgiveness, though, is key to that.
Yeah.
Because we know that we're not going to always be the best example or role models, but it's something that we deeply want because we want the best for our children. And it's amazing. Like, I don't think I recognized just the truth in that until like later in life. I was doing things that I saw my parents do, the right things, right? That they, even if it was making up your bed when you get up in the mornings or some of those things, I'm like, why am I doing this? It's like, oh, it's because I saw my parents, or somebody who was setting that good example for me.
Yeah.
Was doing it. And so, no, that's really good. I mean, that's a powerful answer. It's like, just the hardest part is just, making sure I'm a good example and showing up every day in the right way. I like that. What's the best part?
Oh, the best part is knowing that Adam and I are the source of their joy.
Yeah.
Like they eat, sleep, and breathe us,
Yeah.
and I know that is fleeting. And so the best part, and I saw something recently that, you're going to know your children, Lord willing, as adults longer than you'll know them as children. And like, if you think about it, the most precious thing I think people have is their childhood. How was your childhood? And everything that stems from who they are as an adult is like this tree that grows. And how good are your roots, and how upset are you with your roots, And so I'd say with them getting to say, like, Mom and Dad gave us the best childhood all around. And then seeing that we're trying our hardest to do that.
Yeah.
And then they give us these giggles and smiles. And they say to us, Mom, Dad, you're my best friend. And, and Gingy was singing a song the other day in the back of the car saying, I like my mom more than I like my friends. It was like 4 minutes long, and I was drinking it in. I'm going to play this for you when you're 13.
Did you start recording like
I did.
And then did you send it to Adam?
It was too long. But I've got it, and I'm saving it. But knowing that they really, truly mean it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like
in that moment.
they are every source of joy I could possibly have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Them and my family. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, that is really, really good. One of the things that we love talking about kids is being able to take our kids to things like parades. And Guthrie has big parades. We have 89ers. We have a homecoming parade. All these parades. Do you all have a parade spot? And do you remember the first time y'all went to a parade here?
We did have a parade spot. It was right in front of the middle school. But now our parade spot is from one of the parade floats because Adam's, a city councilor. So it's fun because we get to wave and we get to ride and throw the candy out. So yeah, because it was right in front of the high school or the middle school, junior high. Uh-huh. But now it's from
in
the view
parade.
of a car. Yeah, in the parade. Yeah.
I tell people being in the parade is so much funner than watching the parade.
Yes,
depending on your personality, but I love being in the parade because you just get to see everybody going down the street. And
oh yeah.
I burn so many calories a day when I'm in a parade because I'm running up to everybody. It is really a blast. Now, were parades big from where you were from, or?
I remember a 4th of July parade.
Okay.
I was in 4-H, and I was in it from little to graduated out of it. And so we did a 4-H float every year for 4th of July.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Gotcha. Talking about parades in GuthrieAmerica, I got a little trivia for you, okay?
Oh, I hope I do as well as I did before.
Yeah, let's see. What street is the temple? What street runs into the temple?
Oklahoma,
there you go. Who is our current mayor?
Steve
Gentley. What was the name of our last city manager?
Leroy Alsop.
How many schools are in GuthrieAmerica?
I'd have to count because let's see. Cotterell.
See, I stumped her. She was on a roll there. Look at her.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do they consider Charter Oak Guthrie?
Yeah.
I don't know, 7 or 8.
Yeah, it's 8.
8.
Yeah. There's 8 of them. What street is the Pollard on?
The Pollard Theater?
The Pollard Theater.
It's at the corner of 2nd and Harrison.
2nd and
no, that's the Pollard Inn. The Pollard is on Harrison.
Yeah, it's on Harrison. Yeah. No, you're good. That's good. All right. What was Guthrie's original name before it became the capital of Oklahoma Territory?
Wasn't it Deer Creek?
Cimarron City.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to Google that because maybe there's pictures of the depot under that. Because we had to go look back at Deer Creek stuff to get pictures of the depot.
What year did Guthrie lose its status as the state capital to Oklahoma City?
Wasn't it 1907 or 8?
1910.
No, was it that long?
1910. Fact check me, but I think it's 1910.
Adam would have known that.
Which famous outlaw was captured in Guthrie and held in the city's jail?
Doolin?
Elmer McCurdy.
I know this whole story. I can't believe I didn't think that. Yeah. He's buried over at one of our cemeteries.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What is the name of the historic district in Guthrie known for its Victorian architecture?
Say that question again?
What is the name of the historic district in Guthrie known for its Victorian architect?
Oh, it's Victorian architect.
Yeah.
Is it not
It's super. It's in the question actually.
Why am I stumbling? Because right now the first thing that popped in my head was the Lentz building, and I know that's wrong.
No, what's the name of the district?
The Victorian district.
Guthrie Historic
Historic District. Yeah. I'm going, why is this a hard question? Because I'm like, I didn't know we had it. Because I was thinking of the food cart. Is what I was trying to think of.
Yeah. Some of these I didn't know either. Let me
I was
just
just
say
like,
this.
that's a trick question. That should be on the list.
That's why I say it's in the name.
Victorian District is the Guthrie Victorian District.
It's in the question. What was the major event that led to the rapid growth of Guthrie in the late 1800s?
That was a land run.
Land run.
That's because that's the history of the depot.
Yeah. Which American composer wrote a musical about the Oklahoma land run called Oklahoma?
Oh, that's Rodgers and Hammerstein.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's two different people, but Rodgers and Hammerstein. Yeah.
Richard Rodgers did that one, right?
Yes.
Which I should know this.
Way
I just
to go.
did. Yeah. I just
Because
did.
you just did the
American song.
Yeah. Yes. What is the name of the festival? What is the name of the annual festival celebrating the Scottish heritage of Guthrie?
The annual the Scottish heritage
Yeah.
of Guthrie?
I'm just not looking at this.
I was going to say, that's not bluegrass.
No. I wonder if we even still do this.
I was going to say, is this even going anymore?
I don't think so.
What is the name of the annual festival that, this might be before my time.
What is the name of the annual festival celebrating the Scottish heritage of Guthrie?
I have no idea.
I'm going to give the answer, but I wish somebody leave a comment if you knew this. It's called Oklahoma Highland Games.
We had Highland Games?
That's what it says.
Oh my gosh, bring it back. Really?
That's what it says. I don't know how into sports. You may know this. What famous baseball player was born in Guthrie and went on to have a successful career in the MLB?
Oh, he was born in Guthrie?
Yeah.
Would that be
with the sports museum being right there by your establishment?
I know. Well, right now what's going through my head is Will Rogers, because I just took Adam to the airport, and that's not right. Doesn't he have a thing over in Miami? Because that's where he moved to. I don't know. I'm not going to get his name. My brain is mom brain. I'm not going to.
I think he did move. I'm gonna Google that later. I think he did move to Miami. Ferguson Jenkins.
Oh, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Is that? But because he was, I thought he was living out at Cedar. Is he still alive?
I don't know.
Let us know. Help us out.
No, yeah.
What historic building in Guthrie was once the largest opera house west of the Mississippi River?
That would have been the Pollard, right? Opera house?
Yeah.
Oh, is it the temple?
Yeah. Yeah. The Scottish Rite Masonic Temple.
Yeah.
All right, here's the last one. What is the name of the museum in Guthrie dedicated to the history of the state's first capital?
Oklahoma Territorial Museum.
Yeah, just got a new director.
Yeah.
All right, this next one is called Pass or Answer, okay? You say pass or you can answer.
Okay.
What's your go-to social media platform?
Facebook. I'm that generation. You can totally tell when you were born based off of which social media platform. Because if they struggle with that answer, you know you were like, you were born in like 2013, 2014. Like, I don't know TikTok.
I don't know Twitter.
I just have too many. No,
that is funny.
A couple years behind me is Instagram.
People who answer that and say Facebook, they always give like a roll in their head like Facebook.
I'm that age.
It's like it defines how old you are or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you have a book you most suggest to others outside of the Bible?
A book?
Yeah.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I didn't know I was dyslexic till I was 26.
Oh, okay.
So I am not a
reader. Gotcha.
But I will tell you what I have been reading is a book called Don't Make Me Count to 3 by Ginger Hubbard. And it is a book that talks about getting to the heart of your child's behavior more than just correcting the behavior. And she has a podcast, and I've literally seen super amazing changes in my kids and myself because of her book and, the practical ways to apply the the ideas in teaching your kids and raising your kids. So yeah,
that's good.
Don't make me count to 3.
Don't make me count to 3. How do you find inspiration in the work you do or in general?
Well, first of all, being a big, fan of history and being a big fan of Guthrie. If it wasn't, here's the thing. If we didn't live in Guthrie, we wouldn't get to do what we do.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
We would just have a normal, boring job. Not to say that a job isn't a blessing, but just like for us being creatives, like we want to do something we're passionate about. But now I've totally lost my train of thought. Ask me the question one more time.
Because you were going somewhere.
I was. And I'm like, I know I want to get back there. So,
how do you find inspiration in the work you do or in general?
Oh, that's easy. Okay, I remember. Because we have this historic building that God has blessed us with, it's easy because we're restoring history and creating history at the same time because people are getting married. People are using it for celebrating anniversaries and celebrating life right there, celebrating the fact that we just had somebody's 75th wedding anniversary. 75th wedding anniversary. Like, when did you get married?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Am I saying that right? 65th wedding anniversary. And then, or something. I don't know. I can't remember.
It was a long time ago.
It's a long time. And so, but they were really, married and birthdays and everything. Like they're celebrating life there. Yeah. And so, because of that, you just sit there. Yeah, that can't be right. But anyway, getting to do the restoration of this building that literally is where Guthrie started. Yeah. With the land run, one of the oldest surviving train stations, and I think the oldest surviving in the state, is just, how can you not get your jollies off of that? Yeah. How can you not sit there and be like part of this history of how many people's feet passed through this building? Mm-hmm. How many things happened? People lived there. They died there. They were born there. Mm-hmm. There's articles at the Territorial Museum about people being born upstairs. Wow. And then there was an officer. There's a plaque on the wall at our police station of one of the officers that was killed in the line of duties, like 3 days in to being a police officer, hunting down people that were doing things there that they shouldn't have been doing. That's crazy. So, yeah.
Last person that made you laugh or smile other than this episode?
Oh, that'd probably be Adam. That would be Adam.
What's one thing on your bucket list?
I want to go to Ireland to go see where the Titanic was built.
Oh, okay.
That's my only bucket list item as far as something like that.
That's it. What's one hidden talent you possess?
I can yodel.
You can yodel?
I can yodel.
What is it? Show me.
Oh gosh, now you're gonna put me on the spot. Yodel.
The singing. Yeah.
So you got to do all of Cowboy Sweetheart to get it in there. Yeah. But if I warm up, I can do it.
But you also sing. You feel like there's a lot of people who didn't know that you sing.
No, yeah, that's a big thing is because my entire world before everything here was I toured and. In college, actually, I was on an off-Broadway show that toured around the country, and I was 19 and did the whole limousines and hotels and sang, and I got to meet the CEOs of Sony Music and talk to them about a deal. Wow. So yeah, I was really blessed by that, and I sing.
That's cool. Yeah. If you could be any animal, what would it be?
Elephant.
You said that too fast, like this. I think you really want to be an elephant. You've been thinking about this.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan. Well, I actually have I sponsor an elephant over in Africa. Through one of the wildlife trusts, and I'm fascinated by their communication and what they can do and how smart they are. They understand aunt, uncle, cousin, everything, and so. I would want to know my family, so, not like a frog or something. It'd be cool to hop around, but no, elephant would definitely be it.
What's the weirdest food you've ever eaten?
Any of my cooking? I feel so bad for Adam. That man does not complain about what I put on his plate. Here's chicken breast. It tastes like rubber. There you go. I cannot cook.
That is so funny.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that probably mine. I mean, I can't think of it. I'm not really a person who explores different foods.
Yeah, okay. I'm not either. I'm with you.
But I'm the kind of person that would eat people chow if they made it.
Okay.
Give me my macronutrients. Give me something that I can just not think about.
Yes.
No taste, doesn't matter. Just
give it to you.
Yeah.
I'm just need to eat. I just need to eat.
Yeah.
If you could write a note to your younger self, what would it say in 1 to 2 sentences?
Find God as soon as you can. Yeah. It would save me from so much strife.
Yeah.
Make your number one priority if you don't know that God is there, if you don't know that Jesus is there, do whatever it takes to find out the truth.
Yeah.
And don't go to videos or books or anything. Go straight to the Bible.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I would say.
That's good. Yeah. What's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice I've ever received, I would probably say, that's a hard question. I should have prepared for that.
This is pass or answer. You can pass it or answer.
No, I'd say the best advice I've ever received is when you pass away, make sure that what people have to say about you in general is good. That they don't remember that you live a life that makes them remember you for the good things, and don't give them reasons not to remember the good things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good advice. That's going back to the example thing. I think that's something that's dear to you, just being a good example, and that's what that is.
Yeah. Well, I hope that the first thing I want to hear, hopefully, when I die, is well done.
Yeah. Good and
faithful servant.
Yeah.
That's what my life goal would be.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know we can't because we are all sinners.
Yeah.
But you tried.
Try. That's it. I think that's the key. That's the key. God just wants us to, put forth the best effort we can by trusting Him. And yeah. Okay, 2 more questions. When you hear community wins, what does that mean to you?
Community wins, that means everybody is focused on helping each other here. That's what I love about Guthrie, is that I can call 700 people and trust them with my kids.
Yeah.
And whether or not we would get along, they would come running.
Yeah.
So community wins is supporting each other, supporting each other's businesses, and staying here. I don't go to Edmond. I don't need anything here. I can get everything here.
Yeah.
And the more we can bring here, the more we win. So
that's
supporting
right.
each other that way.
Yeah. And that kind of ties into the last one. You have a Choose Guthrie sign in your yard. What is that for? What does that mean? What does Choose Guthrie mean to you?
Oh, how long is your show? Choose Guthrie is true because when you move here, you have a sense of, I think, what people are looking for in America. I think that we've lost, and you still have that community.
Yeah.
You still know your neighbors. You can let your kid ride their bike down the street, and they're going to have 75 mamas going, yep, she was just by my store.
Yeah.
That's, the village is gone, but the village is still here.
Yeah.
And so that is something that is so rare, that the fact that this still exists here, Choose Guthrie every time. Yeah. Move here.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because and move here knowing that that is something we treasure and we're going to protect it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. There's more people moving here too.
I know.
Abby keeps growing and keeps sending people this way. Abby, thank you so much for hanging out with me today.
You're welcome.
This has been good.
Yeah.
And there could be so much more. I
know. It's just like we didn't even talk about the depot.
There's so much more. Yeah, you know what? Let's talk about the tea parties and the
Oh,
deep.
yeah.
We
can edit out all that other stuff.
Yeah. Tell us about the tea parties.
So every quarter, I started back in December of last year. I'd been wanting to put on tea parties for quite a while. Every quarter, I put on a tea party at the depot. Last year in December was a Victorian tea party, and then in March we did a Celtic tea. We just did the American Songbook, and then in the fall, in October, we're going to do Harvest and Harvey, which goes over the history of the Harvey girls. And I'm hoping to get the Cimarron reenactors to come and be the actors that tell the story of the Harvey girls and all the history. And it's very nice. We dressed in Sunday best, or for the Victorian tea, we dressed in Victorian attire. And we just go through, there's usually a performance or, a presentation that goes with the tea. So you're getting history always. And just getting a chance to, sit back, relax, enjoy mingling, but also learning at the same time. So we've been doing those, and it's every quarter, and we'll keep on going. It's growing. Everybody who's come has said that it's just an awesome experience. So we need to make sure you and Bernadette get there.
Yeah. No, that's cool. And it's at the depot?
Yeah, it's at the depot. The next one's October 26th.
And how long have y'all had the depot? Like, you're doing events. You talked about weddings and things like that. Mm-hmm. Was that the heart when you got it? Was to host events, to do those things, let people utilize it in the way that they're doing?
Yeah, but then we also wanted to be able to give back to the community too. One of the things that we really appreciate is the fact that God blessed us with it, and so we want to bless others with it. So, nonprofits can come in and have a fundraiser.
Yeah. And
we want to know what it's for, what they're doing, and if we can keep it to where we can do it pro bono or just have them cover the bare minimum of utilities and things like that. We want the fundraiser to be a fundraiser. We don't want it to be out of pocket. So we welcome, people who are looking to try to help their charities and their causes. So, but yeah, we're running as an event center. It's what we know and it's what we like to do. And so... But putting on these types of events, the historical events and stuff like that, like we just want to continue growing it. Yeah. And getting to use that building to the best of its ability. I mean, the upstairs is almost done. So it's cool though, because the upstairs were the dormitories for the Harvey girls. Okay. Because you had to live there if you worked for Fred Harvey. Okay. Yeah.
The one of the cool things that since y'all have gotten the building is to be able to see you all not only do you have other people working on it, but you all are in there grinding and doing some of the renovations and things yourselves.
Yes.
Which speaks to you all as being entrepreneurs. And I wanted to ask this question anyway, like how do you balance being an entrepreneur mom, a wife to an entrepreneur? Like, how do y'all make all of that work day to day? Or you don't, you just do it?
Great question. If anyone knows, please put it in the comments or call me. You get in, and a lot of times it's just, oh crap, this thing broke. We got to go fix it right now. And you drop everything that you're doing and you go fix it. But, you learn a lot too. You look up, thankfully we have YouTube so we can find out. But I was raised with a super, handy dad, and, he was a woodworker. He's a blacksmith. He does ground penetrating radar. He actually came and scanned the depot for the tunnels that everybody says aren't there. They're there. We have an entrance to one of them in the basement. It's very obvious. It's like a 10 by 10 foot door. But yeah, so, I mean, Adam is really handy. He knows tons about everything. His dad was a lineman electrician. So, I mean, we are very blessed with, if we don't know how to do it, we know people who do it. Yeah. And we also are excited to learn how to do it. So, but yeah, there's a lot of our own blood, sweat, and tears in that building.
Yeah, no, that's been cool to see.
That's where I told Adam that we were going to have a baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it's very historic,
it's
even
very special. Yeah.
in your own family and everything.
That's how he knew Gingy was coming.
Yeah, that is so cool. That's so cool. Yeah, and it's such a cool building.
Yeah.
Do you think we're going to get trains? It operates as a station again.
Well, I hope
to
so.
Some degree.
The plan is, the last I'd heard, is as early as 2025 or 2027.
Okay.
But right now, Amtrak is scheduled to come back.
Okay.
It's funny, we bought the building and all of a sudden everybody asked, all those questions, and we got thrown onto all those boards, which is great because then you get to know things ahead of time. So that's been a whole unexpected, avenue.
Yeah.
That's been fun.
Yeah, I really enjoy the train, even though you don't get to some places as quick as like taking a trip down to Dallas. You can definitely get there faster driving, but there's nothing like the train experience to me. Like I want to do a nation across the nation kind of thing and jump on different trains, and I just like the chillness of it. I like the stops in the small towns and unique places. So I think I'm gonna jump on one here soon and go do some street photography with a friend in Dallas. So.
Oof. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. So that should be fun.
We want to go with the kids.
Yeah.
So it'll be fun to go down. I've got an aunt down in Dallas that I talk to quite often. I've got a lot of family down there, and so it'd be fun to take the train down there.
But it'd be fun just to be able to do it right here from Guthrie, jump on and just go. Oh my goodness, I can't wait for that. That's gonna be legit.
What's the only gap left in the country?
Yeah.
And so if they can close that gap, you could literally go anywhere.
Okay.
You could go all the way to New York and either coast and up and down. And
because right now we can't go. Can we go to Kansas?
You can't go north right now. There's a passenger rail doesn't. Freight does.
Yeah.
And trains are trains. So I don't know why we don't. But you have to go to Dallas. You have to go down.
You got to go to Dallas and then come back,
and then you go back up north. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
You got to take the railway through the Union Station in Kansas City.
Okay.
Which is where that show was that I sang in for years.
Yeah.
So but that's for the trains to come back. How good would that be for Guthrie?
That would be so awesome.
Right?
That would be so.
We'd love to have an excursion train up here from the city.
Yeah.
And so, if we can get the passenger train, it opens up all those possibilities.
Yeah.
For like a day train down to Norman to go see a ball game and then come back.
Yeah.
It opens up all those possibilities.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Keep working at it.
I know, right? Yeah.
Keep working at it. Keep working at it.
Well,
that doesn't have anything to do with growth, right? Like
economic development for sure.
No, I'm saying like, does Guthrie need to grow in order for that to be a quicker? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, it's all 100%, bureaucratic stuff. It's all, in order to have passenger rail, you have to go at these speeds, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And bringing rails up to code and
gotcha.
It's real easy. If they just made you go 10 miles slower, you could have had passenger rail this whole time.
Yeah.
And then it follows code. So
gotcha.
All that.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much. Let's keep working.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work.
Well, you too. This is awesome. It's
Thank
fun
you so much.
Sit there and listen.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on a mission to have every story told of the people who do life here in GuthrieAmerica and who are from here. The question that we love to end with is, will yours be next?